Today we find ourselves in Mark chapter 12. Mark chapter 12 is a very interesting chapter because Jesus finds himself in and around the temple compound. So a lot of things he's going to talk about in this chapter have to do with when you look around the things that you see in the temple. He begins by telling the story about a vine dresser, a man who owns a vineyard, and he sends his servant to go get the proceeds of the vineyard, and they kill the servant, and they sends another servant, they kill that servant, and then he sends his own son, of course referring to himself. And then he says this, "The stone which the builders rejected, this has become the chief cornerstone. This came about from the Lord, and it's marvelous in our eyes," quoting Psalms 118. Jesus says, "I'm the cornerstone." And then he talks about taxes. They want to know if it's okay to pay taxes or not. And Jesus says, "Render to Caesar what's Caesar's, but render to God what is God's." I love that text because I think that's such an important message for you and I. We should every day think about rendering to God what belongs to God. You know what belongs to God? We do. Our entire selves, our entire being, that's what we give to God every day. And then he goes on to talk about the greatest commandment. Don't you love this? 613 commandments in the Old Testament. And they said, which one's the most important? And Jesus pulls two out. He says to love the Lord your God with all your heart, strength, and mind, and then to love your neighbor as yourself. And that greatest commandment has not changed since the day that Jesus spoke it on the face of the earth until right now. So then he goes on to talk about his deity. I love this. He's quoting Psalms 110 here. In verse 7, he says, verse 35, and Jesus began to say, as he taught them in the temple, "How is it that the scribes say that Christ is the son of David? David himself said it in the Holy Spirit. The Lord said to my Lord, sit here at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for my feet." David himself calls him Lord. So in what sense is he a son? And the large crowd enjoyed listening to him. I like that. It says they enjoyed listening to him, at least until he said things that rubbed them the wrong way. And then they had other issues. Well, that kind of closes by giving. He talks about the widow, the widow's mite. So today, my simple encouragement to you is this. Jesus is the chief cornerstone. Would you walk with him today in a fresh way? Not like you did yesterday. Would you let today be a fresh day? Jesus was not only around the temple and in the temple, he was greater to the temple. Today, Jesus is greater than anything in your life. Worship him and enjoy him today.